Beyond the busy streets of downtown Exeter, tucked away in their own isolated corners, lie remarkably biodiverse woods. These places lay an unfortunate reality. A threat invisible to the untrained eye demonstrates just how fragile our ecosystem can be. A competition brews to a breaking point every single day. Invasive plants are faster growing, outperforming the competition, and threatens the impact of our own local flora. The town of Exeter secures its own mowing budget, dedicated to keeping these invasive species at bay, allowing true native plants to flourish. But in some instances, that's easier said than done. Luckily, Kristen Murphey, the town's conservation and sustainability planner, has secured additional support through a stewardship grant awarded by the Great Bay Protection Partnership. With just under an additional $3,000, this grant will allow the town to dive deeper into particular properties that prove to require a little extra work to keep the invasive species at bay.
This grant will help us manage invasives on 3 different conservation properties, and all 3 of them are very different, have very different management goals. So the Irvine property gets a fair amount of walkers in the wintertime. There's quite a bit of poison ivy out here, so a lot of people don't enjoy it in the spring or summer. But it's incredible habitat. There's coyote out here and rabbits. There's been reports of bobcat in the area, which I'm sure is a result of this. We have lots of deer on this property. And then the bird diversity is really high on this parcel in particular. It is near the Squamscott River, so you have sort of that marshy species, but then you have this deeper wooded section. The Morissette property is a former football field that we've been converting to a pollinator field. That is between Linden Street and Court Street along the Little River. And then the other property is McDonald, Whites Meadow, Perry properties. And they're managed to be more open, more grassland than this. This is sort of like the, forest floor, and we're trying to manage for a little bit more open understory.
So what type of plants are there that pose an issue?
Oriental bittersweet is a huge problem. It's this vining plant that you see, and it'll grow up the trunks of our plants, trees mostly. It can constrict and restrict the growth of the trunk, and then ultimately try to make its way to the canopy, so it could block out the canopy for the tree itself. So it can restrict the tree's future growth and also kind of shade it so it's not getting the sunlight that it needs. A tree that used to be, you can see the parts where there was Oriental bittersweet twining around it. We've removed it, and now the tree's free to grow. But you can see there was a time when its growth was restricted by having it basically get strangled by the...
Additional species include multiflora rose and autumn olive, distinct for its silvery white leaves, who grow faster and outcompete the native species. Native plants to Exeter can sometimes be even trickier to identify to the untrained eye.
When you look down by your feet, you see kind of the diversity of some of our natives. These are, a lot of them are herbaceous, meaning non-woody native plants. You see raspberry, which is actually a great native plant. There's all sorts of species that we want to open up that forest floor and give them a chance to take advantage of the newfound sunlight and to try to outcompete some of the invasives.
The impact of the work done by Kristen Murphey and the town's conservation efforts helps Exeter manage biodiversity and keep its flora thriving. Grants given to us provide that additional support to push things forward and let our woods grow and thrive under our care. For more information about the town's conservation efforts, you can visit the town website at exeternh.gov/planning-sustainability.